Drescher did not just play a character on television, she became a sound. One laugh, one sentence, one exaggerated syllable, and audiences instantly knew who they were listening to. During the 1990s, her voice echoed through living rooms across the world, carrying humor, warmth, and unapologetic personality. To the public, Fran Drescher was laughter itself. What no one realized was how much silence lived behind it. Born in Queens, New York in 1957, Francine Joy Drescher grew up in a working-class Jewish family where humor was not optional, it was survival. Her environment shaped her rhythm, her confidence, and her unmistakable way of speaking. She was not trained to be polished, she was trained to be heard. From a young age, Fran understood that presence mattered more than perfection. At just 15 years old, she began a relationship that would quietly define the next 2 decades of her life. She married Peter Mark Jacobson while still a teenager, a rare, intense bond built on loyalty, shared ambition, and creative partnership. As Fran pursued acting, Peter stood beside her as manager, writer, and collaborator. To the outside world, they were inseparable. Inside the marriage, however, unspoken truths were already forming. Before we continue, take 1 second to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you don't miss more real stories like this. Fran's early career followed a familiar path for actresses who did not fit Hollywood's narrow mold. She was told she was too loud, too ethnic, too exaggerated. Casting directors did not know where to place her, yet those same qualities made her unforgettable. Small roles in films like Saturday Night Fever gave her exposure but not security. Fame flirted with her, never fully committing. Throughout the 1980s, Fran worked steadily but invisibly. She appeared, disappeared, and reappeared again, always memorable, never central. The industry enjoyed her flavor but did not yet respect her substance. Still, she kept going, supported by Peter, who believed in her long before networks did. Then, in the early 1990s, everything changed. The Nanny was not supposed to be revolutionary. On paper, it was a simple sitcom. A flashy Queens woman becomes a nanny for a wealthy British family. What it became was a cultural event. Fran Fine was bold, funny, fashionable, and emotionally real. The laugh was exaggerated, the heart was not. Behind the scenes, Fran Drescher was not just the star, she was the co-creator, the driving force, and the emotional center of the show. She shaped storylines, protected her character's dignity, and insisted that Fran Fine be more than a punchline. Success came fast and loudly, but while the world laughed, something terrible had already happened. Years earlier, during the early stages of her career, Fran survived a violent home invasion. She was assaulted inside her own house, a violation that shattered her sense of safety forever. The trauma did not make headlines. Fran did not speak about it publicly. Instead, she buried it under work, humor, and endurance. The laughter became armor. For years, she carried that experience alone. As the nanny soared, Fran's marriage quietly deteriorated. Peter Mark Jacobson was struggling with his own identity, something he could not yet name openly. The bond that once felt unbreakable slowly fractured. They remained professional partners even as their personal connection unraveled. The public saw unity. Privately, they were losing each other. Then came the diagnosis. In 2000, Fran Drescher was diagnosed with uterine cancer, a disease that had gone undetected for years. The diagnosis was devastating, not only because of the illness, but because of what it took from her. Treatment left her unable to have children, closing a door she had not realized was still open in her heart. Once again, she faced life-altering trauma while the world associated her with laughter. Cancer forced Fran to slow down, reflect, and confront everything she had postponed feeling. The silence she had carried for decades began to crack. Survival changed her priorities. Fame no longer felt essential. Truth did. What the audience never understood was that Fran Drescher had been living two lives simultaneously, one filled with color, confidence, and comedy, and another shaped by endurance, fear, and restraint. And she was just beginning to tell the difference between them. Today, Fran Drescher's life is defined less by the sitcom that made her famous and more by the choices she has made to reclaim control over her narrative. She is alive, outspoken, and thriving in ways Hollywood rarely allows women to do after trauma. The voice that once made millions laugh now carries authority, advocacy, and authenticity. After surviving cancer and rebuilding herself emotionally, Fran shifted focus from merely performing to leading. She became a prominent activist for cancer awareness and women's health, founding the Cancer Schmancer organization to ensure early detection and proper treatment. The very system that once failed her became a platform where she could educate, empower, and protect others. Fran transformed personal tragedy into collective action. Her public career evolved as well. She embraced roles selectively, always ensuring that projects aligned with her personal integrity. She returned to television for special appearances, guest spots, and interviews, but never sacrificed the safety, autonomy, or mental peace she had fought so hard to reclaim. Fame no longer dictated her worth. She did. Leadership roles followed naturally. Fran Drescher was elected president of SAG-AFTRA in 2021, proving that her voice was not just comedic, but influential in shaping the future of entertainment labor rights. Her tenure emphasized transparency, fairness, and protecting performers from exploitation, lessons drawn from a career where she had seen the dangers of Hollywood's unchecked power firsthand. Her personal life reflects the lessons of endurance. Though her marriage with Peter Mark Jacobson ended, the relationship matured into an enduring friendship and creative partnership. Fran's son and family life became central, not because of obligation, but by choice. Safety, health, and authenticity finally guided the pace of her life. The real truth about Fran Drescher is that she never allowed public perception to define her identity. For over 30 years, she lived in parallel realities, one of laughter, comedy, and fame, the other of trauma, illness, and emotional survival. The double life was not a secret of scandal, but a testament to resilience. She endured what no audience could see and emerged not only intact, but empowered. Fran's legacy is multi-dimensional. She is not only remembered for the iconic Fran Fine or her New York accent, but for courage, integrity, and self-preservation. She taught the world that strength can coexist with vulnerability, and that laughter can hide wisdom, endurance, and survival. The lessons of her life go beyond television. They are human, universal, and inspiring. In an industry built to consume performers, Fran chose herself. She survived trauma, divorce, cancer, and professional challenges, transforming each into a tool for advocacy, leadership, and authenticity. Her story reminds us that visibility is optional, control is essential, and life, above all, is meant to be lived on one's own terms. Fran's voice may still make people laugh, but now it also commands respect, inspires action, and reflects a life fully reclaimed. That, perhaps, is her most enduring role.